So it's DHA's Reconnect with Rockers. I am so excited to finally connect with this lady because I am such a fan. Hurricane Nita, there is no stopping you. I am talking about Nita Strauss. I've often called you the lady who kind of helped bring Alice Cooper into the next dimension for the past 7 years. And it is such a pleasure. And I'm going to make a prediction. You ready? Dead Inside going to be a #1 rock record.
From your lips to God's ears. Let's
I
hope.
believe that. I absolutely believe that. I was talking to David Draiman. I said, I think you and Nita, and he was like, gosh, if I can help that happen for her, I would be so excited about that. It is just such a monster tune. But before we talk about it, I want to talk about you, the young girl, the gymnast, the very physically fit, sports gal. And then one day you get the epiphany because I believe it's you see Steve Vai. Is he on TV? And what is it
In
about
a movie.
seeing him that changed your life forever?
Yeah, you're right. I grew up in sports. That was my whole plan. My plan for my life as a kid was, just to, do gymnastics and, finish up with that and maybe coach or something. And then I saw Steve Vai in the movie Crossroads. And it was like this light bulb went off in my head. And Vi plays with so much passion and so much intensity and so much joy. And his playing is very aggressive, but it looks fun. Everything he does looks like fun. And it just made me sit straight up and think, I want to do that. And watching Steve Vai in Crossroads is really the thing that led me to where I am today.
And you can want to. I think I was talking to Kenny Wayne Shepherd about it, and he said, as a kid, followed my dad around, and I saw Stevie Ray Vaughan, and I always wanted to. But there also has to be something that is in you. Because look, I would love to be an amazing guitar player. Not going to happen. I've picked up a guitar a few times, just not there. So when do you know that this is just beyond playing guitar? Because you, as I said, you are a force of nature. When you hear and see you play guitar, it's very different than just an average person. When do you know that this is in you, naturally?
I don't know necessarily that it is in anybody naturally, because let me tell you something. Like, when I started out playing guitar, I was terrible. And I was terrible for a long time, just like everybody else. The cool thing about musicianship, really, in any instrument, any genre, is nobody starts out great. Nobody sits down at the piano for the first time or picks up a guitar for the first time and is playing, lights out, is playing Eruption or is playing a classical piece or anything like that. Everybody has to work at it, and you put the same amount of work in and you get the same results. So if you stick with it and you practice, you said that you could never play guitar. I beg to differ, Terrie. If you sat down right now and you sat down for an hour every single day for a year or two, you could be a great guitar player if you put the time in, just like anybody. Honestly, anybody on the planet can do what I do. It just takes a lot of work. That's
Wow.
all.
Inspiration from Nita Strauss. Um, and then you start playing you were in the Iron Maidens, right? So you start playing in bands, and then all of a sudden, and Alice, I would imagine, had a vision. Alice has a vision for people that he wants to play with him. So how do you meet with Alice? How do you hook up with Alice Cooper and become part of that incredible unit of musicians?
Yeah, so I was touring for years and years and years with different bands, from my own projects to the Iron Maidens to Jermaine Jackson to death metal bands and rock bands
Right.
and funk bands and pop, singers and, so many different avenues of just getting out there and getting experience and becoming the performer that I am now. And I was playing on a cruise ship called Monsters of Rock, which a lot of your listeners will know and love. And on that ship, Kip Winger saw us play. I was doing double duty with the Maidens and with a band called Femme Fatale. And Kip saw us play and saw some potential in me. And when he heard that Alice was looking for a guitar player, he recommended me. So that's when I auditioned in 2014. Started out a few weeks after my audition on the Motley Crue tour, and now it's been almost 8 years, which is crazy to think about.
Yeah, yeah. And it's funny, whenever you mention to anyone, I'm going to talk to Nita Strauss, everybody's face goes, Just saw her with Alice. A friend of mine just said, oh my God, just saw her in Atlantic City with Alice. Off the chain, incredible, blown away. Like, there is such an impact that you make on people, and there's such an impact that you make on women coming up and girls that want to play guitar. People look at you, and it's a whole different vision, because I remember I had a conversation with Lita Ford for an interview, and she said to me, how many guys just wanted me out? Take your guitar and go. We don't need you. We don't want you. And it's so nice to see that things have changed significantly, especially having, when you want a collaborator on a tune, someone like David Draiman saying, you know what?
Sure.
Yeah, her playing, my voice, we've jammed together in the past. This is going to be incredible. So, seeing you carry that torch and take us into the next stratosphere of women in music is very, very inspirational. So, you and David had been friends, um, and you have this phenomenal instrumental track. You send it to him, you talk to him. How did Dead Inside come to be between the two of you?
Yeah, I was in Nashville recording, the music for the second album, and we were writing these songs, and knowing that we had some singers in mind, and we all looked at each other in the studio room and said, "This is a David Draiman song." And Josh, my boyfriend and manager, and David have been friends for 20 years, so he was able to get the song to him and said, like, "Look, what do you think? Like, does this seem like something you'd be interested in?" And David, once he had the time, his schedule was so crazy, so he wasn't able to get to it right away. And then when he was able to, it just clicked like that. Like, he was sending ideas back and forth. His words, not mine. He was pestering us for, as soon as he started working on it. And for me, it's not pestering, because I mean, what a cool thing to be getting texts from somebody like David saying that he's excited about our song. So it was just an amazing collaborative process. And really, I think the way that writing music should be: no ego, no drama, just, fun, creative, exciting. And everybody knew that we had something special once we got in the studio and did it.
When I mentioned it to him, when I interviewed him, his face just lit up, and he said it was one of those moments where everything just aligned. Everything came together, and it was absolutely perfect. And you guys in the video too have this great chemistry, this great kind of band chemistry together. What was it like playing next to him singing? And you guys are going to be doing the first live performance together on Thursday, which is going to be awesome, for an audience when I say live performance. But when you guys were recording it and jamming, what was it like to have him singing, bringing your song to life with lyrics? I mean, because you're an instrumental performer, and having him bring this song to a whole new level.
It's wild, I grew up, and I'm the millennial, the token millennial of all the bands I play in. So I grew up in the 2000s, when David and Disturbed were the biggest thing out there, and they still are, But when, like, sort of my formative years as a guitar player, Down with the Sickness was coming out, and they were just at the top of the world, and like every rock station, every metal station that I listened to was always playing them. So it was really cool. It was really exciting, especially we've got that heavy part in the breakdown of Dead Inside, and David's like, "Will you bury the dead?" And like, at one point in the studio, he gave us this really disturbed sort of like guttural throat thing, which didn't make it to the final song. Like, we didn't end up using it, but at one point he goes, "Will you bury the dead?" Oh! And he gave us like that very signature David Draiman, like, guttural, nuance. And I got chills all up and down my spine, because I was like, "Oh my God!" Like, this is real. David is such a powerhouse, and he can do so many different things with his voice. And so that it was just some very, very exciting moments working with him in the studio.
Yeah, that song has a magical feel to it. It's a one listen, it's a half a listen, it's a quarter of a listen. As soon as I started listening to it, I'm like, oh my God, this is monster. This is just going to be a monster tune.
Thank you.
So talk to me about, are you putting out a record? Are you going to be doing tune by tune? Are they going to be more vocalized tracks? Because I think it was 20, was it 18 that we got Control Chaos? Was that 2018? God, it seems like just yesterday.
Yeah. It does seem like just yesterday. Actually, it was on this very day in 2018 that
Wow.
Controlled Chaos came out. We are
Wow.
speaking on Controlled Chaos's birthday, which is really fun.
Wow.
Um, so yeah, we are gonna do a full length. The album is almost finished being recorded. We are just waiting on a couple singers. Guitars are done, drums, bass, everything is finished. This is my first time collaborating with vocalists on anything, so it's a bit of a waiting game. It's testing my patience a little bit, but it's all worth it in the end. And we're gonna do half and half, so 6 instrumental tracks and 6 tracks with guest vocalists.
Oh, that's fantastic. I love, love, love it. And the Winter Wasteland tour is out now. You're actually on tour. So thank you so much. You got a meet and greet coming up. I was looking at last night's photos from the meet and greet. Everybody was like totally gassed up, to see you. What has the tour been like so far?
Yes, super excited for the show on the 7th actually because that's my birthday. So
Yay. Oh,
we are going to have a birthday
fantastic.
party together in New York. Very
Oh,
fun.
awesome.
Yeah, and the tour's been great. We will be a weekend tomorrow, so we're 6 days into the tour right now, and it is already feeling like a different show than it did 6 days ago. The band is firing on all cylinders. It takes a day or two to get back in the swing of things, and for me, switching gears from the Alice show to my show. But we are flying through it now. We are having so much fun. We're enjoying every second of being on stage together. I've had the privilege of being on tour for the last couple of months, but it's my band's first show back since our last tour in 2019. So
Wow.
these guys have been off stage for 2 years, and everybody was like out the gate ready to go, so excited to perform. So the band is playing lights out. I have the best crew that anybody could possibly ask for. Everybody is working their asses off to make this an incredible experience. So please do come out and see us on this tour because you guys will be in for a treat for sure.
Oh, absolutely. Cannot wait. I think this is going to be such a great year for you too. You've got a record coming out. I feel like you're going to have a number one track. You're definitely going to have a top 5 track at rock, but I think that this is going to go number one. You're going to be out again with Alice coming up and your own tour. And, I think it's such a good time to be Nita Strauss. And I think you've earned it and you deserve it. And rock is lucky to have a lady like you, man, on our horizon. So I'm so happy for you. Yay.
Oh my gosh, you just made me really emotional saying that. Thank
No,
you.
it's so true. I do a Friday show called Queens of Noise. And I don't do it because I want to put women in a box on a specialty show because we
Huh.
play a lot of women on WDHA. I do it because I like to show that you can play a full hour of women and people aren't going to turn the radio off because there's always people, oh, you can't play 2 women in an hour or half an hour or back to back. And it's like, who came up with this crap? I've been working at my radio station a long time
Absolutely.
and programming it for a long time, and that's not true. So seeing so many women just being able to break ground for other women, I think is just an incredible thing. And you, my friend, are leading the charge.
That means so much, Terry. Thank you so, so much for saying it. I
And
really appreciate it. It means a lot.
and Nita Strauss, thank you so much for joining me on Reconnect with Rockers. It has truly been my pleasure. DHA's Reconnect with Rockers is powered by Karis Lock Company, your full-service locksmith, and Dover Dodge Chrysler Jeep Ram on Route 46 in Rockaway.